Welcome to Midlife Matters. I'm Marie, and each week I'm joined by my friends Julie and Mindy to talk about all the topics keeping women in the middle years up at night. Today we're talking about summer strategies. We think everyone can use one. Whether you're at home with kids, work full-time, or something in between, we can all use a plan to make the most of this special season. Today we'll cover ways to relax and slow down, how to set some easy goals and accomplish them, ways to incorporate new experiences and adventures, and the hardest summer question of all in our stage of life. How do we entertain and have an awesome summer with preteens and teens in the house? We don't claim to have all the answers. In fact, we encourage you to let us know anything you think of while you're listening. Let's get started. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning, Marie.
Morning, Mindy.
Hey, good morning, girls.
It's good to see you guys. Last week, we got to see each other in person.
Oh, that was so fun.
Yes. Since we started recording this podcast, even though we feel like we see each other on a regular basis, it's always through Skype.
Mm-hmm.
And last week, Julie and I traveled about an hour and a half because Mindy was picking up her daughter in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And so we met her there, and my daughter came and took pictures for our podcast. So now we're going to have some cool pictures of the three of us to use on Instagram and on our website. I just got those back a couple days ago, and they look really good.
Yeah, it was so fun. And we got ice cream.
Yes, we got ice cream. I think we pretty much spent most of our time eating
and laughing. And I really think our listeners need to see our adventure in my minivan with all of us stuffed in there around Abby's dorm room because of our little,
parking
difficulty,
incident.
The parking incident. So
yes, somebody parked right behind my van. I literally could not get out. They were going to have it towed. So Mindy's van was totally filled with dorm stuff, but I rode in the trunk. Julie rolled on the top of some boxes. Abigail was stuffed in between things. I'll have to put a picture up. Where there's a will, there's a way. We will go for ice cream.
We had so much fun. I loved it. I loved seeing you guys in person.
Yes.
And I have some great news to share with our listeners. We finally went under contract with our house in Tennessee. And as much as I have traveled to Tennessee recently, I will be traveling back with my husband on Friday.
That is so exciting.
Wonderful. Oh, huge answer to prayer. So thank you guys for praying. And we are very excited to kind of move on and go to the next chapter of our lives.
Right. And so how many months was that house on the market? How long have you guys been waiting?
It's been on the market probably 9 months.
Oh, wow. So all through the winter and being 12 hours away, you had to have other people checking on it. And...
yeah, it was a lot. And honestly, our hearts, we love that house. I think that we're really ready to let it go. Mm-hmm. As much as we knew we needed to get rid of the payment, it was kind of nice having that security blanket back there.
Right.
But it's kind of the last thing to say, no, you've moved. It's time to let go and move on.
Yes.
Well, that's great news.
So exciting.
It's good.
What a great time of year to start to feel that freedom.
Yes. Oh,
that changes your summer.
Yeah, we will be moving and packing a lot.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
We are happy for you. And that kind of leads us into our topic today. We're talking about developing a strategy for summer. And whether you're a student getting a long break or an adult that works year-round or anything in between, summer is a special season that we all want to enjoy. And we think that designing your summer ahead of time can help you map out some goals and make sure that you don't just let this time pass you by. Because one thing people always say is summer is quick. I never say that.
Who are those people?
I never say that, but some people do say that. So as we move along in this podcast, you may get the sense that Marie's not the biggest fan of summer. Julie embraces it wholeheartedly. And Mindy, what do you characterize yourself as? You're in the middle. Okay.
Because, I love summer, but I can see why you and I feel the same way about some things.
Yes. All right. But summer does allow you to shift to a more relaxed mindset. And I think we can all agree that that's one of the things that I think is universal. Everybody feels like they should relax more in the summer. Mm-hmm. So what are some ways that you guys try to dial it down and live at a slower pace?
Well, first of all, I just love the fact that we live in a place that has 4 unique seasons. If we didn't, I think I'd just keep on the same pace, doing the same things. It would just get kind of boring. But each season, you start to think, I'm going to do things differently.
That is true, yeah.
And I think summer, like you already said, is just you shift to a more relaxed mindset. And I don't know, I just do things differently in the summer. And now I'm not driven by a semester or a school schedule anymore. I mean, my son's in college and he lives at home. So a little bit of that is on my mind. But I don't know. I just see summer as a time to do things differently from the rest of the year. It invites us to change things up a bit. And I guess it's because maybe the weather, we have longer daylight hours. It seems like more people are available to do things.
There's
true. More freedom to travel. Even though my husband, his summer work schedule's the same, I think he feels that way too. Mm-hmm. Even though he's still working every day. And I guess just all those years being a homeschool mom, I looked forward to summer because it was a break for me.
Right.
I needed that just as much as the kids. And so even though I'm not on a school schedule anymore, I think it's just in my brain. I just still think that way.
There's something about those long days and all the sunshine. It just I know for us, it makes us want to get together with friends more. Mm-hmm. I think that's probably one of the things that's on my mind the most is, okay, who do we want to see today? Or if today is kind of a, buckle down the hatches, we need to clean up this mess because we've been having too much fun.
Right.
But we really do plan to see people more. You can travel easier. And I think that I'm really going to enjoy a full summer now that I've gone through a really long winter. Mm-hmm. I think I'll see the joy of that here because the summer will be shorter. It'll be shorter than what I'm used to.
Right.
But Bryce and I, now that it's staying light later, 7:30 every night, that's our walk time. And we just kind of started that with daylight savings time. And I love it. I love having some warmer evenings and getting outside. So
yeah,
it's more relaxed, but I do try to still keep a bit of a schedule. So it's not like I can completely just let go because we still have kids in the house and, utter chaos breaks out if you don't have any schedule.
It can't just be a free for all.
So that's why, moms don't really get a break. I mean, you're still on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I definitely try to sleep later. I'm not a late sleeper to begin with, but, maybe 7:30, which I feel like in the central time zone where we live, it starts to get light about 5:45. It's really hard to sleep in. Even though I have blackout shades, I can still tell that it's getting lighter. But
at least you don't have to pop out of bed at 5:30 and be somewhere. That's nice.
Yeah. Very much. And then we can say goodbye to the bedtime routine, even though my kids are older and I don't need to brush their teeth. You still have to be on them during the school year. Finish up your homework, get your shower. Come on now, get your teeth brushed. Are you ready for bed? Because otherwise it could be midnight and they could still be puttering around.
Oh, it's true.
And in the summer, you don't have to be saying all those things anymore because if they do go to bed later, there's nothing they have to get up for really.
Right.
Yeah, we go to bed later and I like that. And we eat dinner later. It seems like everything just stretches out.
It shifts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like that sports are over. Your evenings truly are like you said, Mindy, after you're done eating dinner, there is a big block of time where you could relax and enjoy and do something fun. Right. And you're not having to run to a game or run to a practice. So actually, those things
Marie,
are nice.
That's when our families, when I lived there, we would meet at the pool.
Oh, right. Yes.
Do you remember that? We would meet, and I remember Nathaniel was still running around. I'd let him loose with the vest thing that went between his legs. And, if he fell in, he'd just bob up and down in the pool. But we'd have full family volleyball games in the pool.
Yes. I mean, that is the best time to go to the pool. You don't have to put sunscreen on.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not so hot while you're just sitting there watching them. You can play cards or just talk or relax. So
Yeah.
that is actually my favorite time to go to the pool.
It is.
Those are my best memories of summer, is just times at the pool, meeting friends. And
Yes.
sometimes we'd stay through dinner and order a pizza or go home and get something and bring it back, to eat at the pool. And
yes, I am saddened by the fact that my kids are older now and aren't really entertained by the pool.
Isn't that weird? I'm like, why don't you guys want to go to the pool?
Right.
I'm like,
I know. And I should go by myself or I could meet adult moms, because when your kids are little,
right,
you long for a time when you're not having to watch children at the pool.
It's true.
But I find that I really don't do that.
I'm like dreaming of having a pool in my yard. So I think I'll be looking for a house that has a pool in the yard. I'll get a really cheap house with a nice pool.
Yes, that does sound very good. Yeah.
Enjoy it for 2 months of the year.
And like you guys said, you can definitely be more spontaneous. You can say yes to family and friends as often as they ask, because you don't have those big, long schedules.
Right.
And it's nice.
I will say that when my kids were little, I love summer, but the first week of summer was always the absolute worst. I don't know what it was. Just that transition. I felt guilty that they were sleeping late. I felt guilty that no one was being productive. We're relaxing too much, but I just tried to get through that first week. I thought, we're coming off this super intense schedule and it's good for them. It's okay. And then I was always thankful that VBS rolled around, because it's always the first week of the summer. So already we were getting up, because all of us participated in some way or another. We were working or helping or being involved in it. So it gave us a place to be every day. And then we'd have a week at home and church camp would come up. And then we'd have a week at home and a mission trip would come up. And then we'd have a week at home and it was family vacation. So I felt like we could be more relaxed on those weeks that we were all home, because I knew something structured was coming soon. Like that just helped me mentally to kind of have these tent poles in place. And then I didn't really care about those off weeks. I felt more permission to just let them relax.
For sure. I mean, when my kids were small, my summer calendar, I would try to plan like a week thing every other week. Like I just needed that. Like, okay, there's VBS, there's youth camp. Okay, maybe they can go to a different camp. Okay, then we can go on family vacation. Okay, then there can be sports. The thought of 10 or 12 weeks with nothing on the calendar literally would send me into depression, because I just can't deal with that much free time with 5 kids at home saying, what are we going to do today? Like, it seems an impossibility. So I really, really had to do that. Now that the kids are older, I don't have as many of those touch points down, but I'm looking at our calendar this summer and I'm thinking, I have got to put some touch points down, because I'm feeling a little bit nervous.
I know. I feel that sense. And it's funny, Julie, you mentioned with homeschooling that you were ready for a break in the summer. And because I didn't homeschool, I would feel like I needed to be super intentional. Okay, well, now it's my turn, Bryce and I would be like, okay, they need to practice piano. We want them to learn a language. They could like do all of these extra courses. The school has, where you can take Spanish over the summer, sign them up. They need to have reading time. So yeah, we would start out that way, get really frustrated, pitter, and fail.
Right. By the second week of June,
have you
that's
practiced
totally
piano at all this summer?
I know.
No.
Yes.
And so it took me a long time to get chill enough to be like, okay, them living life, coming to the grocery store, watching me interact with people at the library, taking them for walks, like I have to see the value in living and the value in interacting over maybe them, learning another language over the summer.
That's a really good point.
Sometimes at home, you don't really see kids playing in the yard anymore. Do you guys remember growing up? Like I would play with the water hose for hours. The neighborhood kids and we would do jumping races over the water. We would play limbo with the water hose. We had a sprinkler outside and we would jump through it. Do you remember the middle episode where Frankie's showing her kids how fun it is to jump through the sprinkler? That was me.
Yes, me too. I didn't even come in until dark, I was just gone all day.
Bryce and I have also talked about that. Like, we just want to see the kids out in the yard playing. Well, so then when our kids go out in the yard playing in Brentwood, and they're half dressed running through a sprinkler, everybody's driving by looking at us like we're hillbillies.
Yeah.
It's not normal really to see kids out there doing that anymore.
Well, and then your kids get to a certain age where they really wouldn't play. Then they just want to be on screens. That's a fight I think that all modern families fight.
It's true. It really is true.
We've kind of talked about how you slow down. One thing I tend to do is read more in the summer to slow down. How about you guys?
We do. And that's kind of one of our traditions is when we are going to go on our family vacation, that we go to a bookstore and everyone gets to pick out a book. And it's kind of the only time we go to a bookstore and pick out a book. Otherwise, I'm on like half.com or Amazon ordering stuff if they need it for school. So it's kind of fun. Like,
that is a neat tradition.
I really like that. They get a new book at Christmas. They get a new book to go on family vacation.
Yes.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, we tend to try to incorporate that. So at least when we're traveling to vacation, we say, okay, it's reading time. Put your screens down and it's time to read. So we even schedule the time in the van.
Much to my dismay, none of my kids read for pleasure. My oldest son will read on vacation or if he has not a lot going on, but he doesn't need reading for pleasure as a part of his life on a regular basis like I do. I just love with someday get a reading expert on or something, because I just do not believe it's true that if you set the example, your kids will automatically become good readers. That is such a lie.
I know.
I do think, though, if you give it some time, Marie.
Julie, my kids are
Molly,
grown.
No, but Molly was not a big reader in high school. And then in college, it started to increase and increase. And I will say, this is so exciting. She has started a book club.
Really?
She has her own book club now. They had their first meeting. So she does like to read. I think it can still happen, Marie.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks,
well,
Julie.
I'll hold
We
out
need that
hope.
encouragement. Yeah.
Right. But what do you guys like to read in the summer? Because I know that I read more romance, more beach type reads, funny reads. I don't tend to read as heavy of books as I normally would. And I don't plan it that way. I just gravitate towards lighter reading. How about you guys?
That's funny. Yeah, because I'm just the opposite.
You are?
Yes, like I tend to save up stuff. I don't know why I have this mentality. I guess through homeschooling, I felt like I couldn't do things that I wanted to do during the year. So I would say, that's on my summer list. That's on my summer list. So if I really want to dig deep or read books that might prepare me for something I'm going to be doing next fall, like I'll save that up. Or I really started to do more intensive Bible study in the summer. Like I would have my coffee on the porch, start listening to that Exploring My Strange Bible. And then it would, hours would go by. And I just love doing that. So I kind of save the intensive stuff for summer, and I don't know. It's just, I feel like I've just got the time to sit and do that. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed to say one of the things, I guess I'm a little bit of both again, because my quiet times are a lot longer in the summer. But when I go for pleasure reading, it's like teen fiction.
I can see that.
It's so fun to read some of the teen fiction or sci-fi teen books or whatever. Totally different.
Yeah, I definitely want to feel like I'm escaping and just having fun with my reading.
Yeah.
One of the things that I know that I tend to do, and we talked about this a little bit with our What's for Dinner Mom episode, but we do tend to eat later. Do you guys do anything different as far as like when you eat or where you eat?
I buy more popsicles and ice cream in the summer.
Yes.
than ever. We don't eat a lot of that through the winter, but in the summer, that's just one of our favorite things to do as a family is go to an ice cream shop. Or like if the boys had been playing outside, that I have just popsicles in the freezer like all summer long.
I buy those big boxes of the freeze pops at Costco and Sam's.
The huge one.
You're pretty much allowed unending amounts of those.
Yeah.
Because they're cheap and small.
And the neighbor kids could have them. Like, I don't care if they share with the neighborhood with that.
Right. Right. Don't take my healthy choice bars and share them with your friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know, one of the things I'm excited about is grilling again. We love to grill food. And since we've lived in the townhouse, we've not had our grill. It's been at our house in Tennessee.
Okay.
So I cannot wait to smell my grilling food and have that. But we do a lot more, obviously, grilling and then ice cream and sandwiches. Sandwiches are kind of a staple. Hot sandwiches, cold sandwiches, different kinds of breads and wraps and stuff. But
do you eat out more in the summer, Julie?
We do a lot of things differently in the summer, and I don't maybe eat out more, but I might eat out different meals.
Okay.
Like I might eat out breakfast, which I don't ever really get to do during the year. And we might try to do something fun like the Funky Griddle. Like it's a place where you go and make your own pancakes at your table. I like to connect with people that I don't get to see often, maybe over coffee or lunch. So I guess I do that more. And I love to eat outside. Anytime there's I choose my restaurants by their outdoor seating.
Yeah. Oh, me too, Julie.
Even if it's hot, we are eating outside.
Yes.
John he does not consider the kitchen his domain at all. He does not cook, but he makes homemade ice cream in the summer. So that's kind of a fun thing.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I think Bryce could really get behind that.
Yeah. Yeah. And as much as I hate to admit it, Sonic is summer.
Yeah. They have happy hour from 2 to 4, and they have half price drinks and slushes. So
yeah. And then we've already done this once. Like it was 9:30 at night. David was studying for an exam, and I was like, "You just need a break. You don't need to just sit there." So we got in the car, went over, and got milkshakes. At 10 o'clock.
I love that because aren't they
we do that a lot
after 8 o'clock?
After 8 o'clock, yeah.
I'm sorry. Isn't that sad that I know this by heart?
It's just fun. I just love Sonic in the summer. It just means summer.
If you did not hear our Mother's Day episode a few weeks ago, you need to go back and listen to that and listen to Julie's fun story that happened to her at Sonic.
Oh, I love that story.
We won't give any hints, but go back to celebrating motherhood and listen to that. Do you have any summer plans or goals, things that you do, or maybe things that you've put off during the school year that you're looking to accomplish this summer?
Well, I'm planning to move.
Yes. I feel like that sounds... I get so excited about other people moving. I know that probably the people moving are like, oh, I'm moving this summer, but I just feel like that sounds so exciting.
Well, it is actually exciting. I think you can look at it, one of two ways. Obviously, it's hard and difficult, and there's a lot of work, but you just feel so accomplished because even to clean out the place you've lived and leave it and say goodbye, it's like, okay, that's finished. It's come to a conclusion. It's all clean and pristine and you walk away. And here you are starting someplace new. So I'm so excited to be able to establish a new home for my family. I've had a really sweet break living in a townhome, maintenance free, no yard work, no grass. But I love those things. I cannot wait to put my hands in the dirt and put a flower in the ground and watch it grow again, decorate my living room. I'm going to get back to painting. I cannot wait to do some house projects and just make a home for my family again.
Yes.
So put a volleyball net up in the backyard and live at our house. I almost don't we have some plans to take some trips and things, but honestly, we could just stay at the house all summer. I would be just fine.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Julie, do you have any goals that you've set down that you want to put out there into the universe so people can hold you accountable?
Well, like I said, I used to save everything project-wise, but now that I am not homeschooling, I can kind of still do things throughout the year. But I used to save painting and sewing and cleaning out, but not so much anymore. So my list is more fun things, and I really want to try to connect with people. While I'm doing those things, it's not just about the thing itself, but who am I going to do that with?
Yes.
So I actually made a list. People's names and what I'm going to do.
Oh, that's great.
And
am
it's
I
not
on there?
Yeah. What about
you
me?
are?
What are we doing, Julie?
Well, I'd love to come to Amish country with my mom.
I would love to go there with you and your mom.
She's asked me to do a little road trip, and she kind of waxes and wanes on that. But she doesn't support my travel. But if I take her with me, maybe she'll come. Anyway, my list is I want to make sure that it's not a list of I've got to do all these things or my summer's not worth anything. Okay. It's more like I've got the list. I can go refer to it and say, oh, this is going on this week, or It's not a list of have tos, but if I don't have it kind of in my mind, then the summer will just fly by and I won't have done any
I
of it.
love that idea, Julie.
I still keep a paper calendar on the wall, and I've filled in dates of concerts in the park, movie nights in the park.
Oh.
And I may not go to them, but they're on the calendar, so I know that they're there.
Rather than Googling that stuff, I'll just say, hey, are there any concerts or movies this week? And then
No kidding. You've got it easy, Marie.
Julie's going to plan the summer for anybody that lives in the Nashville area.
Oh my goodness. Well, I feel like we could ask our kids too, hey, put some things on the list that you guys would like to do this summer, and then just pull from them when you have a free Saturday or free Friday night or whatever.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So don't make it a list that you feel pressured. It's not like a burden to keep, but it's just ideas that are there, and you won't miss them if you want to do them.
Okay, that's a great idea. I'm going to put this out there in the world because I thought I might like to do it at the beginning of the school year, and I think I did it for one afternoon. I want to get my pictures in order, and I feel like if I just set aside an hour, 2 days a week, I could probably accomplish a lot, but I just cannot. I'm like 3 or 4 years behind on any albums, and every time I go to my computer and have to upload more pictures from my phone, it's so discouraging to see all the ones that I've never organized or done anything with.
Marie, what do you do with them? Like when you say you want to organize your pictures?
Well, I have traditionally made my albums through a company called Mixbook, but you can do them through Shutterfly or anywhere. I just happen to have chosen Mixbook, and then I like to stick with the same one because even ones I made 7 or 8 years ago are still on their website. If I wanted to reorder them, I could.
So do you do like an album per year?
Well,
or how do you organize them?
Theoretically, but I'm like 4 years behind.
Sure.
And if there's been a really special, like when we went to Disney World with the whole family, I made that its own album because I took so many pictures. It would have dwarfed the year album,
Okay.
But in general, one album a year is enough. And that doesn't seem like too lofty of a goal, one album a year. But I cannot get moving on it.
That's huge because as we add pictures, each of our kids have phones and they all take pictures. So everyone's adding their pictures in. And it's like, there's so many pictures. It's overwhelming.
I would really love this summer to get my albums caught up. And then my theoretical goal would be to start that company called Chatbooks.
Yeah.
And so then I would actually just get books made right off my phone and not have to make them for just once a year anymore.
That is a lot easier.
I'm going to go ahead and tell the world that I'm not going to do that for probably 2 or 3 more years. And then maybe I'll put that on my list.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I'll actually accomplish it, but if I do say something out loud, I tend to do it better than if it was just a thought in my head.
You do.
And the key is, because actually I did this the other night. I was looking on my phone at all the pictures, that I have, thousands. And I hadn't put them into little albums in about a year. So I was looking back at Christmas and Disney World and all this. So I sat and did that on my phone. And just getting that organized would make the whole making the album so much easier.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes, definitely.
That's the hurdle right there. Yeah.
Right. Or even just like if you're waiting for something, kids at a lesson, doctor's appointment, if you would just go through your phone and get rid of duplicates that you don't need. Sometimes I do that. And I feel better after I've done that because I don't need 3 pictures of the same thing. I'm just haven't decided which one's better yet.
Right. It's true.
So anyways, that is one of my summer goals. Are you guys going to do anything locally, staycation type things that you have on your list, places to see? I know Julie probably has a lot.
Do.
All right, Julie, what do you have down?
Well, besides concerts in the park, movies in the park, farmers markets, flea markets, the zoo, there's a lot of day trips from Nashville, Mammoth Cave, the Memphis Zoo. Rock Island is a fun place. I like to do hikes, maybe where you can swim or visit a waterfall. Last summer, I had friends come up and we did some antebellum mansion tours. That was really fun. Ripa Villa, Belmont Mansion. We went to James K. Polk's house in Columbia. If you haven't done that, that's really nice. Oh, and one thing on my list is the drive-in. Have you guys ever done the drive-in at Watertown?
No,
near
I
Lebanon?
haven't done a drive-in as an adult, like since I've had kids, I don't think any
Yeah.
either.
Yeah, we that's been on our list. It was an old rundown drive-in, and they have new screens, new sound, and it's supposed to be
wow.
really nice. I think it'd be fun to go up there and just make a night of it,
Without kids.
Well, I'm thinking of, again, going back to the middle, they go to the drive-in and the kids can't really hear the sound. And they're like, this is how it sounds. I can't even hear what they're saying. And
yes. That is a funny episode. Yes.
Yeah, better go without kids.
Right. But yeah, if you do look in your area, things that, if you had visitors come to town that you might show them, even if you don't have visitors, think, hey, have I ever gone here? And check this out before.
I'm really excited. We did hear of a downtown area in King of Prussia that has live music on the weekends in the evenings. And so that's on our list to do. Hear some live music and just be outside. And I think that we're going to be traveling all up and down the East Coast. I think we're going to, take a lot of day trips to different shores. It's so great that we're this close to the shore. So since everything is so new, I have a really big list.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested to hear what you try out.
Yes. Because aren't you going to the Hamptons, Marie, this summer?
No, that was just one of my bucket list things
on
to
your
do,
list.
but,
Okay. Yes. Okay.
But no, I'm not going to the Hamptons.
I'll
but
go
someday I would
with you.
like to go to the
That
Hamptons.
sounds so nice.
Yes.
Marie's going to be in the Hamptons.
Yeah. I wish I was spending the summer in the Hamptons.
Yes. Let's summer.
That is one thing that I've always wanted to be able to do, and I never will in my lifetime unless I own another house, but I would love to be able to say like, oh, I'm going to my lake house for the summer, like I'm literally moving, you won't see me, or I'd love to be able to say I'm going to Martha's Vineyard for the summer or whatever, but wouldn't that be so cool? It's like you totally leave your regular life and you have a whole nother life that's just for summer. I think that just sounds ideal.
And even better if it wasn't your house, but your family's.
So for sure.
That's even better.
Listeners, if you have this situation, enlighten us. And we'd love to have you on as a guest. But anyways, here's a big question. And the one that is constantly in the back of my mind. How do you help your teens and your preteens navigate summer? How do you help them stay productive, relax, unplug, and have fun too? Please, I need words of wisdom here.
I was on board until you said have fun too, because I was thinking like, them to work, man. They need to go stay busy, like yard work, right? Housework. I haven't seen the back of your closet in like 2 years,
Yeah.
You need to go get a job.
For sure. Yes.
Well, in my mind, I always looked at the morning was my time. So I got them up and they cleaned their rooms. They cleaned the bathrooms. They did some laundry. And then I did have, like scheduled reading time or just room time, sometime to be on your own, not being entertained. Reading, practicing guitar, piano, those kind of things. And then after lunch, I kind of felt like, okay, they've earned some free time, or we're going to the pool or we're going to go to the park or the zoo or whatever. I just kind of felt like if I could get that productive morning time, I felt better about the afternoon being free.
Right.
Marie, I'm going to be interested to hear what you say, because we're at a point in our development in this house that I am the adventurous one. And I wake up, I'm like, oh, we get to go do this today. And they're like, Mom, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, oh, it'd be so fun. We just want to stay home.
Right. Well, and I'm thinking, with phones, honestly, in the summer, they sleep as late as they want and then they get on their phone. And I am the type of person that hear no evil, see no evil. Is that the phrase? Or see no evil, hear no evil. Anyways, if you're quiet, I'm not going to disturb you. So if you could stay on Netflix from 7:30 to 11:30. And if you haven't bothered me, I'm not going to go in there and say, get out of bed, because I've got plenty to entertain myself.
Right.
But I do start to feel guilty about that plan of attack long about day 5 out of 7 in a week. One of the things that I just try really hard, like last year, my girls were 14 and they had walked around and put flyers in the neighbor, willing to babysit, willing to pet sit. And so they babysat a lot last summer. They have their applications in at some places for part-time work this summer. Now it's hard because they're only going to be 15. And in Tennessee, you really don't get hired at many places until you're 16. So I don't know if they'll actually get a job. Isaac had a job last year at 15 working at Kroger. And he was like bagging groceries, taking in carts. I do try and plan some specific activities, a couple days of the week, but we can't go somewhere every day. If they were still little and they were satisfied by the pool or things like that, yes, I could go somewhere every day. But the places they want to go now are like escape room for an hour at $25 a head.
It's true.
Well, we're not going to do that for 8 hours every day. You know, so like the things they want to do now are expensive, so you have to space them out more.
It's so true.
Or find coupons or Groupons or something. So it's just a hard age. I feel like 13, 14, 15 are hard ages to entertain kids in the summer. I don't know.
Sonic happy hour.
Yeah. Well, we could go there every day. We could go to Sonic happy hour every day.
It is affordable. Half price.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't have a lot of great ideas.
I craft. Like, I don't know.
Julie.
Like we did that.
I just really wish they would get into a craft.
Knitting, painting. I don't know.
Lydia wanted to take up knitting, so we bought the supplies. You know who ended up taking up knitting? Me.
You.
Like they want to learn something, they try it like 2 times, completely give out on it, and then I start to enjoy it and keep going, but they're totally off onto the next thing.
I can't see my boys wanting to knit.
No.
Here in Nashville, Deer Run is a great place. Our kids volunteered there in the summer.
Yeah.
And they don't pay you in high school. They only pay college age staff people, but they do take volunteers at high school. And that's a fun thing.
Really? I may.
So volunteering of any kind, it doesn't have to be there, but that's a good option is to maybe volunteer 1 day a week or somewhere,
Yes.
Well, I already know, like I'm barely going to see Grant this summer. Of course, it's nice when your kids hit an age where they're driving because he has a job already at Chick-fil-A. So he'll continue to work through the summer, but then football will have practices all through the summer. Then they'll go to 2-a-day practices and they'll have a camp and just all this different stuff. And so I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to see that child.
Yeah. It almost reaches a point where 13, 14, 15, you're just about ready to tear your hair out because what do you do to entertain them?
They hit
and
16.
Then once they get jobs and stuff, you're like, okay, well, can we find a week to go on family vacation?
It's true.
There's a huge jump.
Then you're trying to schedule when people are off and when you can actually see them and get together.
So listeners, we are totally open to any ideas you have. I mean, Mindy and I are on board to try anything. We've used up our list.
I did hear, and I actually looked this up to verify it. Planet Fitness is offering free unlimited workouts for teens 15 to 18 years old from May 15th to September 11th. And it's called their Teen Summer Challenge.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Because I saw an ad somewhere and then I looked them up on their website and it was true. So I thought, that's pretty cool.
That is.
Yes. And I will say that all 3 of my kids like to schedule time to go to the Y. And so that's a productive hour or whatever, know, so if you don't belong to anything, Planet Fitness would be a great thing to drop them off at for an hour 3 or 4 times a week and get some energy out. That's super.
I actually have joked. I think I'm not joking anymore. I actually feel like I'm serious about this. We have owned 3 trampolines already as a family in the life of our children. I want to get another one when we move, when we get a home here, because I would love to say you need to go outside and don't come in. You can jump, you can ride your bike, you can play basketball. They need to get outside. I'm thinking of doing the whole trampoline thing again.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
What about summer for adults? Because a lot of people, the summers where your kids are at home and you have to entertain feel really long. But before you know it, they really are over. And you still have summer as an adult and you still want it to be special. So how can it be a different season even if you work and aren't on the school schedule anymore? I was thinking that my clothing would change. even though you work probably in an air-conditioned building and the temperature is very similar, I think that if you switched up what you wore to work, it would feel more like summer too, like lighter colors, lighter materials, fun patterns, different purse,
maybe a little
different
more
shoes.
casual. Or,
Yeah. Or yes, I do think a lot of businesses dress more casually in the summer. So I do think that would kind of signal to your mind like, oh, this is summer. Maybe you go outside at lunch and eat at some kind of table or place that they've set up. That you might plan your schedule a little differently. Maybe you go in later, maybe you go in earlier, get out earlier. I think you definitely want to signal to yourself, this is different than the rest of the year. Like Julie was saying, it's so nice when the days aren't all the same.
It's true.
Well, and you have more time after work because it's
that's
daylight.
What I was going to say.
Yeah, so you can even do yard work. I've done yard work till 9:00 before, it's cooler. You don't need sunscreen.
Yeah.
Right.
We take the same dinner and we just go sit out on the deck, and eat dinner like you talked about eating outside. So just taking that food outside as much as possible so you can feel the sunlight, especially if you're in a building all day, but then going for a walk at night or somehow getting outside at night. And we all mentioned going to the pool at night is a lot of fun. And ice cream's open late, so you can go get ice cream.
And I was thinking, even your commute might be different. You might live in an area where it's possible to bike to work or walk to work in the summer, whereas you wouldn't think of doing that in the winter.
Yeah, there's not as much school traffic to deal with.
Yeah, so I think there are ways to kind of signal to yourself that summer is here, and you just have to find them.
Right. I remember when I worked, like I would just roll the windows down on my car and I would open like the sunroof. And I love just feeling the sun on my skin. Just
music in the car, opening the windows.
Yeah. Put some popsicles in your freezer, open the windows, go for a walk.
And whether you work or not, I think it's important to set out some summer goals. Maybe there's projects you want to do. Maybe there's something fun you want to try, someplace you want to go on the weekend, but just that the whole season doesn't pass you by. Is there anything that you've set aside that you need to do this summer that is good for you or that you want to learn?
I actually did one the other night. I was wanting to paint something for my mom, and I saw a lady that I follow on Instagram. I follow a couple of artists, and she had a free class to paint this one little picture, and it was on Skillshare. Have you ever used Skillshare?
No, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, you normally have to pay for it. You join up and pay, and you can learn just about anything you want to learn.
Really?
But this was free. I thought, I am going to look at that more this summer or do some YouTube art classes.
Wow.
I mean, they had anything and everything. And that was really fun because she told you exactly what you needed, and she walked you through it. And of course, I kept rewinding it and watching it over. But that was really fun. So I think I'm going to look at because I looked at watercolor classes like at a store or something, but I thought I might try this first just to do it on my own.
Oh, that's a neat idea.
Really cool.
And you could even take a picture of what you did and she would critique it.
Ooh.
So it wasn't just, all on your own. You got her expertise. Yeah. And one other thing I'm going to do is, I love my podcast, Exploring My Strange Bible. Well, he's done a 28-week series on Matthew. A lot of his stuff is just kind of mind blowing. It's like, I've never thought of it from this perspective. So I'm going to meet with my friend Lisa once a week. Like we're going to listen to it and then just meet for coffee and talk about it.
Oh, that's cool.
What a great idea.
Yeah. Because it's something you want to talk about because it's like, I've never thought of it from this perspective.
Yeah. So instead of a little book club, it's like a podcast club.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But that's neat. Like also the accountability with a friend. So it touches a lot of different things there.
Right. Connecting with a friend.
It does. Yeah.
Going to a new coffee shop.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I know this isn't new for people, but it's something I would like to incorporate into my routine. And I don't know why it's so hard for me to do it, but I really want to incorporate going to a farmer's market this summer. I don't enjoy shopping, period.
Right.
And so the thought of getting in my car and going somewhere extra other than the grocery store is like, do I really feel like it? But I would love to incorporate that.
You have such great options there between the Nashville one and the Franklin one, right at your fingertips. And I bet Lydia and Lauren would enjoy that.
That's true. Do you think they're even open during the week? This is how bad I am. Or are they only open on the weekends?
I think it's just weekend.
It might be Friday, though. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, they could be Friday and Saturday.
I need to look that up, put it on my calendar.
Yeah,
and
I
do
want to
it.
do the Nashville one because they have over 20 restaurants in that pavilion that
That
are
Nashville
lots of
one
great food.
is incredible. I have not found one as good as that, though.
Okay.
We need to hit up the one in Philadelphia because
Oh, yeah.
I bet it's really good. Or just go to Amish country.
I was going to say, I think that
Yeah,
Amish country would probably have a really good one.
So this summer, it's funny, but Abby came home and she had kind of a list of things that she wants to be really intentional about this summer. One of those things, Bryce and I have joined her in. We're kind of doing a healthy thing. You know, she wants to learn to cook more, you know, eating healthier, exercising more. Of course, she gets to come with me to all of my Y classes that I enjoy doing. So it's a lot of fun to have her with me on those. But we're just encouraging each other to make just simple changes and, you know, kind of our diet and, you know, moving more, things like that.
Oh,
And
that's great. Yeah.
And I'm fully excited about her wanting to cook more because
right.
it helps me too. Because then, like, if she does, you know, maybe the main entree, I'll learn how to cook a new vegetable or to cook it like a different way. So I've already thought I need to text Julie and ask how she does all this stuff that she talks about. I want to learn.
Yes. Yes.
Marie, that's a good idea, is teach Lydia and Lauren like a simple meal. Like I remember I started with spaghetti with Molly, you know, like, and then just say, okay, next week I want you to be responsible for the meal on Thursday, you know, like guide them through it and then see if they can do it one night.
Yes.
And they can even do it together. You know,
that is something I've done in the past. I'm glad you said that because to break up the meals, I would assign one kid a meal like per night, not back to back and not all the time, but like they could research what they wanted to do. I would take them to the store if they needed ingredients, and then I would kind of help guide them through making it. But they had to plan it. I think because we get tired of like what to plan.
Right.
And then it helps break up the summer a little bit too, because
it makes them appreciate how hard it is.
Yes.
Yes. No, that's a great idea. I'll have to put that into action.
I heard this lady say that her husband was raised, his mom would say, there's 3 parts to every meal. There's the prep, the eating, and the cleanup, and everyone must participate in 2. And you don't have to eat, but so
that's
eating's one of them. So it's either on the front end or the tail end. Everybody has, and I thought that's a really good.
Yes.
You know, if you're going to eat, you have to do one of the others. That's a really good motto.
Right. And I just think the prep is almost the hardest. Like I can do the eating and the cleaning up, but the prep is like.
I don't like the cleanup at all. Like I don't mind the prep and the cooking, and I sure don't mind the eating. It's that okay, now I'm done. Like,
well, the mental part of the prep is the hard part.
Oh, true.
Like we talked about, you know, just coming up with the idea.
The idea.
Right, right. All right. So do you guys feel pressure to make this summer an epic time, or do you think it's more of a time to just let loose?
I'm more of a let loose, but yet I do have my list of things like this would be really cool to do, you know.
Yeah. I do feel pressure to make this, well, I don't know, epic. Epic is way too lofty of a word for me to live up to. But I do feel pressure to always make summer good. Because I do know there are limited, as much as I don't enjoy entertaining people for 12 weeks, I do know that it's a limited number of years for each child. And I am cognizant of that. And so I do try to make it a good summer, and I do try to remind myself to appreciate this time and, you know, use it for something. And so that is where I feel my pressure. I feel pressure to make it worthwhile.
That's exactly how I feel, especially as your kids start leaving. Then you realize that it does go quickly, more quickly than you thought. But at the same time, I've had to tell myself to chill out with the expectations, because I do have all these lofty ideas. I always start out with, you know, I want to do this and this and this. And I just imagine everyone like getting along and holding hands and skipping down the lane as we go try, you know, this new activity. And then it's getting them out the door, the drive there, they're bickering, the place. It's just, so I have to really pick my destinations and adventures, and I have to give them more time, and they need to have some buy-in to it. So instead of just saying, hey, we need to go here, I'll be like, okay, one time a week, I'd really like to go do something local. We can plan friend things and we can plan things around the house the rest of the week, but maybe one day this week, what day would be good for you? Okay, so how about which activity would you enjoy doing? Because I would really enjoy doing these 3 things. Which one do you guys want to do? And then we pick a day and we go do it. Because I love taking adventures, but again, my kids are at ages, well, the boys are, that they don't want to go anywhere and they don't want to do anything.
Well, I definitely think, as we've talked about in our teenage episodes before, it has to be driven at this age by the parent. Like if you're waiting for them to wake up on that summer morning and say, hey, Mom, let's go to Wave Country or whatever, just you and I, like that's not going to happen. So you need to be intentional. And like you said, Mindy, give them 3 choices. Say you must pick one, and chances are by the time you get there, they'll have gotten on board somewhat.
Hopefully. So there's a lot more bargaining that goes into it to try to get their time and attention.
Right. Anyways, listeners, we are all ears. If you have ideas on how to entertain teens, preteens, or what you do to make summer different, if you work year round, we would love to hear some of the ways that you make summer different. And we would be happy to share those with other listeners. But more than anything, we hope that you guys have an excellent summer. In Tennessee, school is done, and we are ready to begin now. We are on our summer journey. I know, like Mindy, where you are, you still have another month of school. So
we do.
It may seem premature to be talking about summer, but it'll be here before you know it, and we want to make it a great one.
Absolutely.
You'll be ready.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
All right. Sounds great.
Bye. Friends, we're so glad you joined us today. If you enjoy Midlife Matters, we hope you'll tell a friend. Show them how to find us on their phone and hit the free subscribe button so that they never miss an episode. They can also download and listen to each episode right from our website, midlifematterspodcast.com. We'd love to hear from you. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Midlife Matters Podcast. You can also email us at midlifematterspodcast@gmail.com. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you back here next Wednesday. Bye.